And there it is. Yo, what is up, guys? It is Damage Per Second Podcast, episode 54. 54 episodes. We're just past a year. It's been a great ride with the homeboy slow-mo backslap. Happy to be here with you guys, man. It's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. You know, we got leaks, we got, companies taking stuff away from us in games. It's just a lot of stuff to talk about. And first, I do want to welcome my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, Slow-mo backslap. What's been going on with you, sir? How have you been? And I haven't talked to you, it seems, in like a week, even though it has been a week. I haven't talked to you since like Saturday almost.
Dude, we talked last night.
That's not really talking.
What?
It's not really talking. I didn't talk at you.
Did you not speak to me?
I didn't talk at you. Oh, you know what? I did talk to you. Never mind.
Yeah. You were trying to get people to get me to play a From Software game is what you were doing. So you definitely talked at me. But now, yeah, look,
as
man,
you should be.
I know what you mean. We haven't had a one-on-one talk in a while, and which is, it's unusual, but it is what it is. You know, we're busy, middle-aged men. So it is what it is. But I've been good, man. I've been real good. How about you?
I've been good, man. It's been pretty interesting week. Just had a bunch of stuff going on at work and stuff with customers and stuff like that. Playing games, just enjoying myself as much as I can. Kid, like I said last week, my kid went to homecoming for the first time, so dealing with everything that falls from that, and it's been a very enjoyable week. So what's been new with you, homie? What you been playing, first of all?
Well, a little bit of everything. I've been if you've been watching my streams, I've been playing. I played some Road Company. Slaps. Started slapping some people a little bit. It was a little while since I've been in Road Company, but it's like riding a bike. You know, you knock the rust off pretty quickly, and you get in there and you start putting the screws on people. You know how it is. But it was fun. It was fun. Streamed that. I finished BioShock Infinite. The ending kind of threw me. Like I needed a minute to process what the heck just happened. I am in the process of doing the DLC. So there's like 3 DLC. I skipped the one that is more like kind of more to do with the world, and I forgot the name of the city that's in the sky in BioShock Infinite. But I did start wanting to do the 2 DLC, the 2 episodes. They're like 2-parters, and they kind of like the second part continues from the first part. That takes place in Rapture, which is the city from 1 and 2, and that's been actually pretty good. It's been a very good story. I see why people like BioShock. It's a pretty decent series. I'm glad I got that collection from Steam. I tried out.
How much was it when you bought it?
It's like $15.
That's not bad.
Steam sales are awesome, man.
Especially when they're good games.
Yeah. It's a little bit older, but still, no big deal. I'm playing it at like 144 frames per second. You know the refresh rate of my monitor.
Oh
Because
Lord.
my PC can do that, no, but I also tried out this game called AI the Somnium Files. You ever heard of that?
No.
Okay, it's on Game Pass. Shout out to Dio Colon for suggesting it. It's a little fan servicey. It's a little fan servicey. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but if you like fan service and if you like Phoenix Wright, like the Phoenix Wright games, it's kind of like that. Like you're a detective and there's a crime that you have to solve, and there's a murder, and you try to figure it out, but you use like in AI, you're using like technology to go into people's brains and find out like what happened or what they know, even the people who are like nonverbal, like they went into like some kind of like trance or something because they're traumatized about what they saw. You go in, you figure it out. It's got a good gameplay loop because it's based it off of like how you're investigating things the way Phoenix Wright does it. It's just some of the dialogue had me like, yo, did a 16-year-old write this? Because like some of the comments, I'm like the cheesy jokes, the really bad sex puns that sounded like it was written by someone who's never touched a woman before. It was just it kind of got to me. Shout out to everybody who watched the stream though. I think we had a good time with it. Uh what else have I? Oh, Back for Blood, which we're going to talk about, in a few minutes. So I'm not going to talk too much about that yet. But I played Back for Blood yesterday, a little bit today, and right when like maybe midnight on Tuesday night, I played it like Monday night. I played it then as well. So I've been just kind of been really well versed in all my games as usual. You know how it is.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of where I've been sitting at for the last couple of days and stuff. Just mostly just sitting back and
I missed
just.
one. I missed one.
You missed
I
what?
finished Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on PC. This is like that'll be
Ooh.
like my second time playing through it. It
It's the
still
best
holds
one.
up.
It's the best
It still
one
holds up.
to me, at
Well,
least.
this is I used to say that it's the best one.
I
I'm
never
now
played
playing.
Shadow yet.
You ain't missing much. Shadow's the worst one.
Okay,
But
Shadow is the worst one.
I kind of at this point now kind of feel like even though Tomb Raider Definitive Edition has the better story,
Mm-hmm.
that the better playing game and better looking, better playing, better overall everything but story is Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Mm.
Rise has got like like I said, visually,
Well,
it's
Rise is
pretty good.
definitely a good looking game.
Yeah. Uh, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on PC isn't ugly. I'm not saying that. It's especially if you got like a really good rig like mine and you can, even though it doesn't have like all the like say features that current games have, if you know how to go into your Nvidia control panel, you can turn some stuff on that can kind of give things a little boost. It actually looks pretty damn good. Especially for a game that came out in like what was that 2011,
Mhm.
2012.
Yeah, it was right before this last generation started. It was right
Yeah.
around the time I built my PC too. Well, not built it, but redid it because I played Tomb Raider. I didn't play it on Xbox. I played it on PC and on Steam, and yeah, it was the first time I fell into that trap of 60 frames per second or bust. It's like, oh, yo, this is so much better. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, I played a lot of that one, and I never went back and finished. I don't even did I finish? I don't even think I finished Rise. I think I might towards the end of it. I think around that time that came out, that's when Destiny was like full tilt for me, and I was just stuck in that world. But for the most part, I do want to go back and finish that because I still do have the saves and stuff. Shout out to Xbox and their cloud saves. Ever since they implemented that throughout the generation, all that stuff. Even if you don't have it on your system, it's still there for you to download as long as you had your Xbox Live account, which was cool. But do want to shout out some people that are in the live chat. We got the homeboy Mitchy Dies a Lot, always trying to be here first. He says the Destiny content vote be like Disney's vote, available for a short time only. Absolutely. That's what it's like, bro. Shout out to that guy Smitty. Shout out to Arodimus. What is going on, sir? And Defloy. See, Defloy Duckbinner and Tony Gracios is in the chat too. So we really appreciate all you guys. Arodimus says, has anybody seen a ticketed Twitter spaces yet? Man, I don't know, man. Some of these Twitter spaces definitely need some oversight, but
They need something.
They need some.
something. Cause yeah.
So,
No,
yeah, go ahead.
no, let's just go ahead and get into it, man. Let's
What's going
let's
on,
skip all the
Sir Taz? How
foreplay.
you doing, bro? I ain't with the eye chat, what's going on with you, Taz? I don't know what's up, man.
What's up, Taz?
But yeah, let's get into it, man. So let's talk about Back for Blood and your impressions of it. Like I put about 6 to 7 hours in. I'm partly through the second, I think going halfway through the second campaign or act or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Halfway
yeah,
through that one.
that's where I'm at right now, like
Yeah.
halfway through the second act.
So what are your impressions of it so far? I know we talked about it a little during we talked about it a little on Brap, but what is your thoughts on it now?
I like I'm really digging it because I'm a big fan of Left 4 Dead, and I have 1 and 2 on Xbox. I have 1 and 2 on PC on Steam. So the game is awesome, especially if you can play with friends. We can kind of we'll get into that
Right.
in a little bit. But what I would say about this one is that Back for Blood, I understand some of the criticisms that are coming to it, and I'll talk about some of the criticisms that are more of people criticizing it because it's not Left 4 Dead, and that is in the realm. I think that's mostly people who just want Left 4 Dead, a remake of Left 4 Dead. Like they just
Right.
want that game. Like, and so like this game's a little bit different. I mean, it's coming from the same exact developer. It's a little bit different, but you get you're getting largely what Left 4 Dead is, and people just don't care for it. I like it. I like some of the changes they made. The gunplay's better, much better actually. The aim assist is a little strong. I think a little too strong. I was playing around with something with that on stream because it's like if you go to the shooting range and
Uh-huh.
if you just aim, like I was like the way I was positioned, I was like standing in between two of the targets, and I just raised my gun in between the middle of them, and I just watched as the aim assist just shoved my gun directly to the head of the left target, and I'm just like, yo, I have never seen aim assist that aggressive before. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't think that's necessary. I kind of think makes it makes it a little too easy to shoot targets, but
You,
I
do,
haven't.
I was gonna say, do
Mhm.
you think it's worse than? Did you see that clip of the Halo gameplay where they were showing the aim assist at work, where the guy had got away on a stream, walked away from his PC, not his PC, but from his Xbox, and characters like probably 30 to 40 meters away from him were running around, and as his reticle crossed over their head, it would literally pull his reticle in different directions.
Wow, I gotta see that. I'll need to see that first before I can say which is worse. But
Well, they said they were
it's
fixing.
pretty
Well, I'm gonna say Bungie, but 343 said in a patch that they were going to fix that. That they said it was an overcompensation between the, how they're trying to do mouse and keyboard support mixed in with
right.
controller.
So
So they
you
said that the
gotta have some aim assist to help controller players comp, play against, compete against mouse and keyboard. Because mouse and
right.
keyboard would be aim assist all by itself, just because it is what it is. You know.
Oh yeah, it's point and shoot,
You're
literally
right.
point and shoot.
Literally.
But go ahead, finish what you were saying.
So my actual criticism, the bugs are it's not as bad on PC as it is on console, from what I'm hearing, because I haven't played it really on console, but on PC it's not that bad, but they are annoying. I hopefully they can get those ironed out quickly. The matchmaking, I think the matchmaking is a bug. There's a problem with matchmaking, and I've noticed
Okay.
this, or either that. Matter of fact, let me rephrase this. I hope there's a problem with matchmaking, because if there isn't a problem with matchmaking, this game is not going to be long for the gaming world. Essentially, this is what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I try to matchmake with some people because I'm playing solo and I don't have anyone else to play with me at that time.
Mm-hmm.
If I was halfway through the first act and I couldn't find anybody to play with. This is on PC with crossplay enabled. And I'm like, what's going on? I was streaming earlier today. Matter of fact, shout out to Fun Speculation in the chat. Mav, how's it going, bro? Mav was watching. He can back me up. I was matchmaking for like trying to start off where I left off, because for some reason the game had forgotten that I had already passed the first act. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to go start from like the middle or something. And so I'm matchmaking for like 10 minutes. I was about to just quit and just go back to playing Rise of the Tomb Raider and just do
Right.
that for my stream. But right when I was about to quit, the game goes, "Oh, he's about to quit. Go ahead and get him in there or something." I don't know. Like it just all of a sudden decided to get me in there. But it only match made me with one other person and two bots, and it's just like, yo, where are the people at? Where are the people playing this game? I feel like for it to be less than a week after launch for a game of this quality, and it's not a terrible game. Yeah, the Metacritic is only in the 70s. So what? Who cares about Metacritic? Like, it's a fun game. It's a fun game to play with people, and I think it plays very well. I can't see that a game less than a week after launch is struggling to find people to play with on two separate platforms. That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm hoping that it's just a bug and Turtle Rock Studios comes out and says, "Yeah, we fixed this bug. Sorry, matchmaking was completely borked." And then, in the future, when I'm trying to matchmake and get some mission started or get some progress on my missions, then I'm actually getting matchmade with people. I had to actually go on rookie and not veteran the way I wanted to, because on veteran, I was matchmaking one time for like 20 minutes. Couldn't find anybody to play with. And I'm just like, it's either people are only doing the very beginning of the first act, or they're just not playing. It's just like what is happening? So
Right.
that's the well, one of my really big frustrations. But like I said, I am enjoying it. Some of the mission structure is different than typical Left 4 Dead. Typical Left 4 Dead is just surviving, running as fast as you can, moving as fast as you can
Yeah.
as a group to the next checkpoint, the next safe house. Rinse and repeat until you get to the end, and you gotta do. Oh well, you get a couple of areas where you gotta turn something on. It's gonna be loud. Zombies gonna come
They'll come from
out of
everywhere.
every nook and cranny and corner. You gotta stave them off, survive, and then you get that kind of mission at the end. Back for Blood's a little bit different now, where I don't know if you've done this yet, but in the most recent missions that I did, we had to go find survivors, release them, and then get them back to the safe house. That's a little bit
Oh,
different.
yeah, the escort missions. Yeah.
Yeah, and even though it's an escort mission, it's a little bit different of a mission structure there. The card system, I don't care for.
It becomes almost obsolete. You don't even really think about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's like you go to the room. It's like you see cards on the floor. Like they'll give you the bonus cards in the middle of a mission, and you'll pick them up and be like, "Oh," and then
Have you unlocked any yet?
yeah, I unlocked a couple of them. I also accidentally picked up some challenge ones, and I was like, "Ooh, I shouldn't have picked that up."
In the chat, Erodimus says Alien Fire Team or Back for Blood.
Um,
I'm gonna say Back for Blood.
I'm gonna say Back for Blood too, and that's hard for me to say because I love Aliens and I love everything about the Alien franchise. But it's as much as I enjoyed the time that me and Slow Mo put into it, that's the only
Also,
time I played that
Outbreak.
game.
Shout out to Outbreak Podcast. They said bring our volumes both up
I did.
if you can.
I
Okay,
did. I did.
good.
Yeah,
Cool.
I brought them up.
My bad. Go ahead and continue.
No, I was just saying, as much as I love it, it's like my problem with. Actually, I don't really have a problem with Alien. It's just the fact that I played Left 4 Dead. I played Back for Blood probably less than I played Alien, but Alien I haven't played but that one session that I did with Slow Mo. Whereas I played quite a few sessions of Back for Blood and wanted to get back in.
So what are you saying? Like, is it me?
No, it's not you.
I'm joking.
I haven't even played Back for Blood with you yet, so it can't be you. There's nothing to compare it to when it comes to you.
Like you played Back for Blood with the homie Cognito.
Yeah, shout out to the home. Shout out to the celebrity.
But you played Alien Fire Team with me, and you haven't picked it up ever since. So I'm just saying, I'm just wondering,
Well, no, it's just, and I'm looking at it right here on my Xbox, and I'm like, man, I need to. We always keep saying we need to get back in there because we played a lot. We played a whole chapter.
We did the entire chapter.
It's 2 hours of gameplay in one day, and it was really, really cool. And so we definitely do. So the thing is, I don't. we probably play. I don't know if we play more because in order to get to what Act 2, you have to play probably about 2 hours. Where it's probably about the same
It
amount of
was about
time.
2 hours. It was
Yeah, about
about
two
two
hours.
hours.
Where it's just
I
hard
I
for me
think
to kind of. It's kind of hard for me to kind of compare the two. I think Back for Blood is a more polished game, because it's been made by a studio that knows what they're doing when it comes to this type of genre of game. Where
yeah,
if
they created this
they
genre
created
game.
this genre,
Yeah.
whereas the studio that made Aliens Fireteam, I believe that was their first title.
Oh, really?
I think that's their first title they ever made. So, I mean,
That's about to
even if
look
they
up.
made one title before, they're not on the same pedigree as Turtle Rock is in the genre that they basically created. So, Back for Blood is just way more polished to me than anything else, and that's how I kind of look at
Aliens
that.
Fireteam Elite is made by Cold Iron Studios, and
Yeah, have they made anything in the past while you're looking that up? Shout out to Fun Speculation being up in the chat. We already mentioned Outbreak podcast. Thanks for coming through, bro. Admiral Wright Meow. Shout out to the Cat Squad. Shout out to the founding
you are
member.
correct.
It's
You are correct.
the only
This is
studio
their only game.
their only games, and that's probably
Which is
why
not bad. I mean, it's not a bad
it wasn't
game.
for a first attempt. It wasn't.
Yeah, this is what I think, right? I think Cold Iron did a decent job with Alien Fireteam, but it's like one of those things where there's nothing exceptional about the game, but there's also nothing bad about it. So it's just in the middle.
I think they have to
And I'm not saying it's boring because it's Aliens, and it's Aliens done pretty well.
It's done.
But it's just not.
It's
It's
really
just
well
not
done.
nothing spectacular.
But like, look at the screen now. Like, I mean, for you, I see the ogre walking towards it. There's nothing like these environments. There's nothing like this as of right now that I've seen inside of Aliens Fireteam.
No, because although it's an iconic environment because it's the same like colony from the movie Aliens,
For the movie,
which
yeah,
is iconic in itself, but you do get the special xenomorphs with the weird names like Daisy and stuff like that. It's just like, why did you name this xenomorph Daisy?
Like
And why is she so
Daisy.
hard to kill? Like,
She's
I don't
so
get it.
hard to kill. But
Yeah, but it's always a xenomorph. It's not like something you haven't seen before. Whereas there's a lot more, and I think that's also kind of plays into the part of here is a licensed game that Cold Iron Studios has. They can't go create something new and spectacular or bombastic out of that. They can't make a whole new xenomorph and be like, "Ooh, this is the special." People will be like, "What you doing? You messing with my nostalgia, man. Ain't no xenomorphs like that."
right.
Whereas Turtle Rock can just do whatever. They got different special zombies in this one than from Left 4 Dead, and why not? Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say is that the narrative is a bit tighter with this one compared to like the cutscenes and,
Yeah.
and a more fleshed out story. Original Left 4 Dead is more like it's like a trope of like one of those like really bad D-list horror movie things. Like when you're loading into the game, they have a movie poster,
Right.
and then when you complete a mission or the movie, they'll run credits with you as playing whatever character you were playing, and then like say rest in peace to whoever didn't make it, stuff like that. So it's like a movie. And that was a cool trope and all, but they took it a step further by actually creating a narrative with characters with personalities that you can choose from. I'm choosing. I can't remember. I think the guy's name is Phil or something. I don't know. He's got like a. He got like a denim jacket and a beard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I just mostly been using him because everyone's getting like the main cast that you see on the cover of the
On
game.
the cover of the game, yeah.
Right. But no, I mean I'm liking it. It's all right. How long I play it is determined by how often I can get friends to play it with me.
That's a
Because
question in itself.
playing it with randoms,
Ooh.
if you can get randoms in there with you, some of them, I mean, like I almost rather have a bot. I'd rather have the
Are you
bot
trying to say
there
some people don't
glitching
know how
out.
to play games?
I'm saying some people don't know how to play this game.
Okay.
Moving super slow, want to check every nook and cranny. What are you doing? Look, I get getting stuff that's on the beaten path, but like, bruh, we trying to get into the safe house. We got special zombies coming at us, and you're trying to figure out which gun you want to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not the time, bro.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I I think at one part I was at the part where with the boat, and you gotta blow the boat up,
Yep.
and I picked up the dynamite, and so I'm walking over to the boat, and the random with me is just like, shoot the Gatling gun, and I'm like, bro, these bots not gonna pick up. They're not gonna pick up the dynamite, sir. You need to pick up the dynamite, man. And it's
Oh
just like I'm
man.
just waiting for him to figure it out, and I'm like, God. Like you have to have communication,
You
and
do, because
yeah,
it's like I remember one time we were playing and nobody picked up. It was in the first act. I was playing with some random people, and you got to defend the. It's like the train yard and stuff, so you got to defend
yeah,
that top part, and nobody picked up. And this is why I realized. I said, "Oh, you just got to make sure you pick up everything yourself, just to make sure you have it." So
right,
nobody picked up the toolkit. In order to get access to the minigun, is inside of that
right.
crate, and you got to have a toolkit. So I was like,
Just get the toolkit every time,
so
man.
so literally to the point where it was like I was playing with Kagina, but it was the first time I was like, oh, just playing the game. I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to. I'll get a cool toolkit. I don't even know what it's for. And then I found out what it was for. I was like, oh, I need to make sure I get this every time. And then for this one strange reason, I didn't get one. And we get to that part, and I'm waiting for somebody to open up this case, and nobody does it. And I'm like, yep, I'm gonna have to keep doing this on my own, because people, you can't count on people, and that's part of the communication side of it. Even
Yeah.
because it's not like the currency they give you is real hard to attain. You get a lot
generous.
of they're very generous with the currency. So when you're going in between safe houses, you got a lot of money that you can use to spend on stuff. But I guess
having a lot of money left over with nothing else to get.
with nothing else to get.
Got like 1,000 left, and I can't. I'm completely stocked up. I got full health. I got a med kit. I got toolkit. I got my 2 weapons. I got attachments on all every attachment I can put on my gun is on there. It's just
and then it just comes down that most people, when they play it, it's like perfect example, like marking and highlighting, special objectives or weapons and stuff on the screen. So, it's like situational awareness. You don't really get that when you're in a, I ain't gonna say you don't get it, but you very rarely get it when you're in a party or in a game with just random people. And then on top of that, like ammo reserves and stuff. Like I pick up everything. Like I will spend I will spend as much money. Yeah, I will spend as much money and do that.
I would say don't pick up all the ammo. So this is what everyone goes for the AR. So instead of getting the AR, I'll get the sniper rifle, or I'll get the.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, when I mean pick up all the ammo, like you look at the gameplay right now. I was running this part. I was running an AR, and I was running a Desert Eagle. And then the next part, I was running the Desert Eagle, and I found the Golden Goose, the 50 Barrett, and I was using the sniper rifle. Yeah. Jesus, bro, everything goes down in one shot with a Barrett. But I was still picking up as much ammo as possible because they were using ARs and shotguns and stuff. And as we were playing through the map, they were talking about, hey, who has this? Who has that? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got AR ammo, and I'll just drop it because I'm not using the AR. And they say, how you doing on sniper? I'm like, oh, I need sniper. I only got like 15 shots left. Next thing I know, they drop all their sniper rounds on the ground. I got a full kit again, and they just pick up the reserve and hold it for me in their backpack and stuff. So that's the type of experience you get when you're playing with people. And it seems like they kind of want you to do that in game, because they do, if anybody has noticed it, which if you're under a rock, if you didn't, as soon as you turn the game on, it tells you that your voice comms are being recorded, because they want everybody to be communicating in this game. So they kind of force
you. They also don't want you to be a douchebag.
They don't want you to be a douchebag while you're doing it, because they're forcing communication in the game. And they know a lot of people are in party chats. but they still allow you to be hearing your party chat. You can hear the people in game at the same time. Your mic is open on both ends of the spectrum, which is a really cool thing. And I really like that. But that just lets you know what kind of communication is kind of needed, especially if you're playing in the higher tiers of difficulty, where it's not just I'm only worried about zombies and people coming at me in the different special the special creatures they have. Now I'm worried about other people shooting me in friendly fire, because the thing people don't know is the higher the difficulty, the higher that spread and how much damage you take from friendly fire goes up too.
Yeah. I think veteran, I think for rookie, it's like 10, 15, 20% of the actual damage that you do is reflected in friendly fire. If you shoot your own teammate, but if you do go up to veteran, it's like 50.
It's like 50%.
And I think the highest difficulty is just basically your full damage. So if like whatever damage that you do is that's it. You're hitting everyone else with that. So like people be spraying and praying and just potato aiming all over the place. With sir, you can you be a little bit focused? You know, I was playing with Enrique. Shout out to Enrique last night, and Enrique was like, "Slow-mo, why are you always crouching?" So I was just like, "Cause I'm not trying to get shot in the back." I'm not trying to get shot, man. Cause every time I'm in front of y'all, or like not directly, every time I know that you guys are behind me, somewhere behind me, I'm getting shot. Right. So I'm just crouching. I'm crouch walking.
Said I'm here. I don't want people to know what's going on, but that's why I'm doing it, because I don't trust you people. No, right, that's cool. Right. So you did just say you don't know how long. It really depends on how many people you can get in a game with you. Do you see yourself finishing this game if you have the people to play it with?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, same thing. That's how I feel about it. I think that's a given. I didn't like the beta. I like the beta, but I like the full game better, which I guess is supposed to be what the experience comes down to, because they did change a lot of stuff. And well, not a lot of stuff, but they made it so a lot of the enemies really do flank you, like significantly more inside of the full game than they did in the beta. Like I see myself like turning around a lot inside of the game just to make sure. And shout out to the people on my team, man. We had hacksaws, we had battle axes, we had machetes. Those melee weapons it seems like they do more damage than actual guns in the game, bro.
They do. But of course they're melee weapons, so
you got to be close.
You gotta be close, and some of these enemies you don't want to be too close to. But yeah, they absolutely do a ton of damage. I think you should always go with a gun and a melee weapon. The pistol, unless I see that there's a particular pistol I was trying out in the shooting range, and I can't remember the name of it now. It's something 36. Is it Magnum 36?
Yeah.
But whatever, it's the auto variant of it. And man, I was just like, if I had this in the game with the fire rate that thing had, I was like, yeah, I would take this over. I would take that over a melee weapon. But very few weapons I would take over melee.
Yeah, this part right here was quite funny. I was we were shooting through the door, and I forget who it was that got that got snatched up through the door and slung. He'd be swinging his hand in the door. He grabbed you. He picked him up and just threw him across the room and junk. It was so funny, bro. This game is very it's the perfect Game Pass game. Let's be for real. It's a very well done game by an established studio that knows what they're doing when it comes to this type of genre and type of game. And I'm happy that a lot of people are liking it that have played it. I do think a lot more people need to play it, because we need people to not just download the game, but actually play the game. I mean, even if you put an hour, 2 hours into a game that you could just download with your subscription, do it, because it gives valuable data to not just, Microsoft and Xbox. It gives it to the developer to know that, hey, these type of moves do help. As much as people probably didn't beat the game, people did put a significant amount of time playing it and trying it. You know, that's something that does matter in the grand scheme of something like Game Pass, you know, just the engagement piece in general. But I like it. It's fun. It's a breath of fresh air versus a lot of the other stuff that's out there. And I think everybody should give it a try if you got the subscription. You got anything else?
It's a game you can pick up and just play. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to like build towards anything. You don't have to grind. You don't have to. Oh man, I gotta. Even when you don't feel like playing, I mean, I gotta play Back for Blood because I got dailies. I gotta do the like that all that looter kind of love. No, it's just hey, what you guys up to? You know, and I got friends like that. Like a lot, I got friends I know personally that just usually it's on a Friday or a Saturday. We'll just get together and we'll play something. And usually the we'll just play something is either Left 4 Dead, Splitgate, Rogue Company, or whatever is new and hot that we can get 4 people to play all at once. And we've been kind of talking about this one for a minute because this thinking like, hey, look, this might be the replacement for Left 4 Dead, something a little bit fresher, something we haven't really touched yet. So this is I hope it has some legs.
I wonder
at least some legs with my friends. So
right. Well,
I can finish it.
I wonder if, because I know they got the stats on it because Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are both backwards compatible. I mean, you would think that the game that is newer would probably resonate more, but a lot of people love Left 4 Dead, and I wonder what the numbers on Left 4 Dead, you know, compared, you know, user to user base. Like if there was only, you know, 10,000 people out there playing Left 4 Dead, you know.
Well, it is on Steam. But the interesting thing is that
Left 4 Dead
it's on Game Pass PC.
That's probably the even better comparison.
But Left 4 Dead isn't on Game Pass PC. So
it isn't?
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, Back 4 Blood is. So
oh no, okay.
I kind of wonder how Back 4 Blood is doing with like its numbers on Steam compared to. Okay, so actually I just looked it up, and what we have here is in the past. Okay, all-time peak is the past 24 hours. 41,000 people on Steam played the game.
Played Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood and Left 4 Dead 2, because that's what everyone plays, because everything is inside of that.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah. As of now, everyone's on Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood.
It's actually had a massive drop to 15,000.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean that's what it should do.
Exactly. So that's working as intended. The player community that were on Left 4 Dead has now moved to
transition over to Back 4 Blood.
So that makes a lot of sense. Now, is that going to be consistent a month from now?
Right. Are you going to see that Left 4 Dead number go back up?
Exactly.
At this point, everybody that bought Left 4 Dead bought Left 4 Dead. At this point, it's not like they're going back out to buy it again because there's something new out. They'll go if Back 4 Blood doesn't hold the Left 4 Dead crowd, it's because they feel like Left 4 Dead is a better game. So ultimately, that's what it really will come down to in the next couple months. But for me, I think they did a lot of logistical changes, a lot of overall quality of life changes to the game, or the style of the game to actually make it stand out a little bit better for people. And I really enjoy the things they did in it.
I agree. I like it.
So shout out to the homeboy after his passion. Great analysis of Back 4 Blood, gentlemen. I wasn't going to try it, but I am now based on your recommendations. Now, I mean, yeah, man. I like to hear it, man. If you got Game Pass, go out there and try it. You ain't losing nothing. You ain't losing nothing but the $1 or $15 you gave Xbox every month to make sure you're in it. But or $10 if you're just on Xbox. But moving on to the Avowed situation. So anybody that knows Xbox acquired what was the name of the studio, Slow-Mo? Because you called them probably the best RPG makers for the Xbox has in their wheelhouse.
Obsidian
Yes. Do you really believe that?
that did the best RPG makers that
That
Xbox
Xbox
has.
that Xbox has?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to ask.
Who do you think is
I
better?
don't think anybody. I think you're right. I mean, you really. The funny thing about it is, if you want to say something like Bethesda because of Fallout and stuff, the best Fallout game was made by a city.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's just crazy
The
when you
best
think about
Fallout
it.
for a lot of people, the best Fallout game is Fallout New Vegas.
And it was made by a non-Bethesda studio. So I'm kind of with you on that. I heard you say that, and I was like, oh yeah. I was kind of like, what is he talking about? And then I heard you say that. I was like, he makes a good point there. Kind of can't put him in a corner now. But yeah, there's been can't put him in a corner on that one now. But there's been somewhat of a massive leak. Not even really a leak that we could see. A couple people got a chance to see some of the gameplay. Mainly Jets Corden over at Windows Central. You also know him as part of the Xbox 2 with the homeboy Red Outdoor 19. Shout out to them. Always listen to them when I get a chance when they go live on Friday. So yeah, don't forget to go check them out tomorrow because they'll have a lot more stuff probably to talk about then. But this is what Jez had to say. He wrote an article on Windows Central about it. He says, let's start with the gameplay. Essentially, players can expect something similar to Skyrim with the ability to freely choose between different weapons and magic styles. You want a dual wield dagger and be stealthy? You can do that. Want to pet enemies with arrows from afar? You can finish them off with fireballs. You can do that too. One noticeable departure, however, is that there will be a greater emphasis on two-handed magic spells. There will be also a greater emphasis on loadouts according to the Avowed leak. There apparently won't be any massive list of spells available to your character at any one time. As for the game's development, Avowed is apparently already playable in a pre-alpha state. It's unclear exactly how much of the game is finished, but Windows Central speculates that it may be on track to get a proper gameplay reveal at E3 2022. Unfortunately, there is a lot of unanswered questions. We don't know yet if the game will be a full-blown open world or will it go more of the hub style as Obsidian's previous game, The Outer Worlds. Keep in mind that this is a leak information from the confidential source, is verification and everything like that. So what do you think about, first of all, what do you think about, do you want it to be more of an open world or a hub style game?
I would prefer more hub style.
So you
I
prefer the Outer Worlds way of doing it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. I really enjoyed the Outer Worlds. I was a little leery because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's just going to be more another Fallout." Based off of the art style. If you look at the art, like the architecture of buildings and the clothing and things like that, it does give you kind of a vibe from Fallout. But I was pleasantly surprised that a lot of the game design was more BioWare than Bethesda Game Studios. So, like I said, I enjoyed the Outer Worlds. Looking forward to Outer Worlds 2. Uh, Avowed, not going full blown Skyrim ish, just like the Pillars of Eternity universe with Skyrim is like that's the reason why I really just wasn't interested in Avowed at all, because I don't care about Bethesda Game Studios games. Fallout and Elder Scrolls are, I think, just hey, people are gonna hate it, me saying this, but they're overrated to me. I have no desire to play them, but
Unless it's
I
made
get
by
that people
Obsidian.
like them. Well, even Fallout New Vegas, I think I didn't care for Fallout, so I didn't care. I didn't even attempt to play Fallout New Vegas when it was new. I own the game now because it was on
Have you
sale,
played
super
any
sale.
of the Fallout games?
Yeah, I played 3. I
Okay.
played 4.
Oh,
I didn't like either of them. So I played both of them, and I've played too many Elder Scrolls games. I don't know why I do this to myself. I attempt to play them, and then I am reminded that, like, this plays just like Morrowind, and I hated Morrowind, and I just turn it off. So
yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Morrowind, I couldn't. Morrowind was, yeah, I'm with you on that.
When Skyrim was big, I was playing BioWare RPGs. And
Yeah.
that's more of like that kind of Western RPG is what I'm into. Uh, where the narrative is more tightly written and more structured. I under the people who swear by Skyrim like it's like the greatest thing ever are the people, or Elder Scrolls in general and Fallout. They like big sandboxes. They like to they like to just explore, and the story. Like take Fallout 4 for example. Like this character's child he's supposed to be going after his child,
Right.
and instead he's just doing all this other stuff, random stuff in the world. What about your kid? What kid? It's just like that's not like I need an RPG that actually it seems a bit more grounded to me, where it's like these characters have actual motivations beyond just hey, it's whatever I want to do because it's a big open sandbox. And so that's just preference, of course, and my preference is I like to I like a Bioware, old school Bioware, of course, style of Western RPG than the Bethesda ones. And seeing they bring this back to Obsidian, seeing Obsidian kind of do that is where it's at for me. I think they are the best RPG studio Xbox has. I think In Exile would be second. If you look at the Wasteland games, they're very well written, and
Mm.
they do a really good job of spinning a narrative for you and giving you some interesting dilemmas to think about.
Mm.
I think Bethesda's got a lot to prove. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they do prove it with Starfield. But in the meantime, yeah.
You silly. I feel you though. I mean,
I'm just
I'm
saying.
just listening to you. You're just like they got a lot of proof. They all right. I play Fallout 4. I play Fallout 3. Who cares if they were Game of the Year content? Don't matter to me. I was playing BioWare games, which were way better. Who cares about Bethesda? That's what you come off as.
I know people will feel like that. I'm sorry.
Oh
I am.
man. I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
oh man. Look, man, you can only feel how you feel, man. I feel you. It's it's interesting it's interesting for me for the fact that it's like they always are trying to find everything will always be kind of compared to Skyrim. You know, even Outer Worlds, which
You mean for Bethesda?
yeah, for
I mean, I'm
Bethesda.
sorry, for Obsidian,
For
it will
Obsidian,
be.
everything
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be because their number one game that people loved was a freaking Bethesda game. So it's just hard for, I won't say it's hard for them, but it's going to be hard for a lot of people to kind of move off that. I will tell you, I haven't told you this yet, but I will tell you now that I downloaded Outer Worlds for the first time now to actually play through it because you were talking so glowingly about it. I was like, I need to play this game because
See,
it
that first story arc sold me because I was kind of on the fence. I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot, but I'm gonna treat them like I treat Bethesda. If it don't grab me within the first 2 hours, I'm out, uninstall, never playing again. But in them first 2 hours, that first town with everything they had going on, you'll see. I'm not trying to spoil it, but the dilemmas that you have and the way it was written, it had me sold. By the time I was leaving that planet, I was like, yeah, I'm I am I am focused in on this. I am engaged on this.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, like I thought the characters were great. You know, it's you actually have well thought out, well written companions that have their own. They're not cookie cutter, one note, uh, very poorly written characters that don't have a lot of layers. Though these characters have layers. They can get into very interesting conversations with you. They have their own side plot side quests to go through. All this stuff reminds me of old school Bioware, you know, because I'm a big old school Bioware fan, you know.
Yeah. So that's actually really good, a good, interesting point of it for for you being a person that loves Bioware. You know, we're never gonna get the classic Bioware back. That's big gone.
No, no, no.
We can
It's
only
like
hope.
all the amazing talent is now out in
Yeah,
Humanoid Games, Yellow Brick Games,
they're all over there.
Archetype Entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah,
At this point, we gotta hope that somebody else just remembers the good
fills
old
the void.
times and can build it back on their own. But what? Okay, so and Erodimus just spoke to this too. He said, "Skyrim is the greatest thing ever." That is what. And then he says, "Funny, I finished JRPGs, but none of my Western RPGs," which kind of contradicts like Skyrim being the greatest thing ever when you didn't finish it. I mean, unless he's talking about anything after Skyrim. So for me, you were really in love with the BioWare formula. What is it that you think Bethesda needs to do with this game, or not this game? What do you think
Obsidian
Obsidian needs to do with this game in
with
order
Avowed.
to yeah, what do they need to do to kind of just step into their own space compared to it just being kind of run and visionary by Bethesda when it comes to stuff like that? Because right now Fallout and Starfield, and everybody's going to be talking about the next Elder Scrolls when they finally do announce something around 6. That's going to be the talk of the town. What do they have to do in order to capture people's hearts and minds like Bethesda did for their games?
They need for Avowed, they need to create engaging characters that are iconic. Some of the best RPGs are that people have nostalgia for. They have nostalgia for a particular character. With Final Fantasy, it's
It's
Cloud,
Cloud.
Aerith, Tifa, Sephiroth, the villains, Kefka. You know, like these are characters that people. I say those names and people immediately pictured them in their head.
I just did every last
See,
one of them.
I know everyone did without even having to I'm not a magician. I just know that you did because those characters are so iconic that we've all heard and seen them or experienced playing the game with them before.
Mm-hmm.
They need to create like and then I on the Bioware side of things, and I think this is the reason why Bioware is so beloved. They had iconic characters as well. Revan from Knights of the Old Republic, the Master in Jade Empire,
Mm-hmm.
the Shepherd, Liara, Miranda, Thane, Garrus. I'm naming just all these characters from Mass Effect. The I could go through a whole host of characters in Dragon Age as well. These are iconic characters that people latch on to. People care so obsessed so much about they do cosplays for. I know it's not necessarily strictly about the gameplay when I bring this up, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important in today's gaming. And isn't just the RPG thing. You can look at Overwatch. Look at all those characters at Overwatch and the Overwatch community and how they care about what those characters are. That separates an Overwatch from a Bleeding Edge, where no one cared about who those characters were or what they looked like. I think for Avowed, they have to create characters that will resonate with people long after they play the game,
Yeah.
and that will kind of catapult it from being, oh, that was a pretty good RPG, it was cool, to, oh man, I can't wait to play Avowed 2 to see what happens to X now that they did Z. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing they have to capture. Everything else can be just solid or great, but creating characters that people will live on with people, it's a mandatory thing.
Right. Shout out to Phil DVG with the $2 super chat. Should Avowed take inspiration from Dragon Age?
I will say, and this is coming from a massive Dragon Age fan, no. and I would say I'm saying no because they're already kind of close in theme.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're too if you and it's not like Dragon Age owns that theme, like that's been done before, but I don't I wouldn't want them people to look at Avowed and be like, all right, you really took a lot of influence from Dragon Age,
Right.
especially when this comes out, Avowed comes out, say 2023, and then Dragon Age 4 is supposed to come out in 2024. Like people, you don't want people saying, "Man, why should I play this when Dragon Age comes out in a year?" I'll just wait for Dragon Age since that's
Right.
who you're trying to be. Like, so I wouldn't want if it's especially if it's a quality game for it to not get a fair shake just because people think it's too close, like another game that's similar.
Right. No, I agree with that 100%. You know, I
It should take inspiration from Pillars of Eternity, which is where
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 it
it's
actually the world is actually
yeah,
lived in. So,
right, right,
and I
right.
think that is something that actually has a lot of merit to it. I think the fact that they have a bigger world and a bigger story that they can tell just outside of the realm of possibility that this one game can actually cultivate itself. I think that's a really good thing and a really good chance for them to kind of differentiate himself from what any other RPG has done in the past. The one thing I do, and one thing I do want somebody to do, I don't know who's going to do it. It doesn't have to be Obsidian with Avowed. Somebody has to do it. I want to have the experience of game to game progression, decisions that I make in games go forward. I know it's a huge Mass Effect thing, but there was something special and something that kind of made you want to finish a story because you invested in the character so much over the course of however many games it took to do it. And it would be really nice in, you know, something like Avowed or whatever the next game's going to be to know that when you go into it, it's gonna have more of a branching story versus just, you know, the experience you have in that one thing. I mean, you can still have that main experience, like we talk about Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 can be a contained story all on its own. It can end right there if you wanted to, because you had a villain in the collectors and you had a situation with the ship that you had to deal with. And that was the culmination of that game. And even if they did, and we knew that they built it up to be a trilogy, and we knew that from the beginning. But if they didn't, and that had to be the end of it, it was a very, very satisfying ending for what that game was. And I was super happy with that. I think there's other games that need to do stuff like that. So that's like the only thing I really look for any other developer to do, not to just copy what they're doing, but just make your decisions matter from game to game. And then it also gives you hope that it's not going to be this one and done, because as of right now, Avowed, we just know it's one game. And I mean, great if it does well. We can just hope that Microsoft wants to support it longer term, but we really don't know how that's going to pan itself out. And we do know that this Microsoft is and Xbox is a lot different from the last ones of the last generation. But until we get to the situation where we see that you know, back a game that, you know, probably doesn't do as well, or even if it does well, they kind of go back and revisit it again, like they do with Gears of War and stuff like Halo and stuff and Forza, there's always gonna be that thought like, is this just gonna be a one and done and they're gonna be moving on to something else? So that's what I want to see. That's the one thing that I hope that another developer does, not just Obsidian. Pretty much anybody can do it, and I will welcome that with open arms.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yep. So Avowed, we don't know when it's going to come. So, yeah, speaking of which, do you think we're going to? So, there's going to be some stuff shown at not E3, at the Video Game Awards. It's being very, very heavily rumored that it's going to be the Hellblade 2, saying that's going to be shown there. But what's the chances of us probably seeing something else there? And if it is something else shown there, what would you like it to be from Xboxes, especially?
I don't think it's going to be shown there. They did say, or at least from what the talk from Windows Central about Avowed is that it's just getting out of pre-production. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they are at a point where they want to show it yet. Typically, with the way game development works, is you have to create a vertical slice in order to get something that's actually that looks great to show people, because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff that the way we see a game with the graphical settings, the anti-aliasing, the amazing textures and all that stuff isn't added while they're developing the game. That's stuff that's added near the end.
Right.
And so it's unlikely that that's how the game looks right now. Don't show it. And I frankly don't care to see it until you are at a point in development where whatever you show me isn't going to drastically change.
Mm. Yeah.
And we've seen that with other publishers and developers showing the game too early, and then they realize, oh, we can't really do it like this. Oh, the hardware won't support that. The game engine isn't going to support this. We don't have it in the actual game engine budget to do all these things all at once. Something's got to give. And then next thing you know, people are like, you said we were going to have a drone we can operate, and now we don't have a drone no more. You know, I'm talking about you division. So you don't want to show it too early.
Right.
So I don't think we'll see that. I think we might see Compulsion's game.
Ooh, okay.
That's supposed to be a third person perspective running on Unreal Engine. I think kind of like suspense or horror-ish kind of game. Maybe I'm wrong about the theme there, but I thought that's what I know for a fact that their community manager, Nyala something, that it was third person perspective on the Iron Lord
Yeah,
some
on the
years
Iron
ago.
Lord show when she said it, I remember that interview.
Yeah. I know their job announcements are asking for people who experience with Unreal Engine, which no one says that, and your game's running on Unity. Like,
Right.
like you're making your own engine. Like, no, if you ask for people that got experience with Unreal, it's because you're running Unreal Engine. But I think it's probably progressed far enough now where it might be in a state where they can show it, and then like when the game comes out, it's not like this ain't even the same game. Like no, I think it's probably far enough for that. So I think that would be the next game we see.
Yeah, cool. Sad says, "Where's my drone?" So
We still got the drone, man.
I'm ending the poll. We did a poll on Bethesda and are they overrated slow mo? And you will be happy to know that there are some of the smartest people in the chat for us, because 52% of them said they are, and 48% said that no, they're not. So kind of split, bro. And I mean, I think that's kind of how it is for a lot of people that's for Bethesda and stuff when it comes to the games they make. They sometimes I think is it that they're overrated because of the way that their games are portrayed and the way that their games come out in buggy messes and stuff sometimes, and the whole genius behind, you know, them saying like, oh, it's got character because it's busted in so many ways, and people kind of liked it. Some people like it like that. But that's how it is. Some people like it like that, but then I think you got some people that just say, no, man, this is the busted game and I don't care. And those are the people that kind of, you know, scoff at the idea that Bethesda is one of the best studios out there that make games like this, even knowing every last one of their Fallout games, with the exception of 76, has been a game of the year contender. So shout out to you guys for participating in the poll. And you got anything else you want to say about this before we move on?
No, I think we nailed it.
Cool. Battlefield 2042, the Hazard Zone gameplay. Sir, I think this is what Battle Royale, to me, I think this is what their Battle Royale is going to be. I think if you saw the trailer earlier.
What did you title this?
Don't even worry. Don't even worry. Stop it.
No. We gotta talk about that.
No, we don't.
No. 2042 Hardened Zone.
Yes, and I didn't want to go and listen, and I wanted to go back and change it. Pause. I wanted to go back and change it, but I was like, I ain't got time. So there's my
you
spell.
Actually type that out.
Yeah, the Hardened Zone, Hazard Zone. Yes. Your boy. Listen, it wouldn't be DPS podcast run by Gaming Forte on a Thursday if we didn't have something like that pop up. But
it's so hard to type stuff correctly.
It's so hard. Like this, bro. Are we really gonna use that language on the podcast?
Are we? You did it. You put the language on screen, man.
Look, man. Can I live my life, please? Can I live my life?
I'm just saying, man.
Can I live my life?
Look, I know spelling is hard, so it's
hard. Look, slow-mo. See, Taz ain't even see that until you started talking about it. Whatever. So, what do you think? I mean, there's no gameplay. It's just pretty much it's an in-game. I won't even say it's CJ. It's in-game assets because that's the one thing that you really get when it comes to the Frostbite engine. Frostbite 3, by the way. You get very astonishing visuals, even in engine, when it looks like it could be gameplay. But from what you saw, what do you think about the new announcement of the game mode, and what do you think of how it's going to be set up inside of Battlefield 2042?
I kind of didn't know what I watched, but it looked cool. I mean, it's like a CG scene. So, I mean, it's probably running an engine in Frostbite, whatever. You know, I don't want to get people, but like, no, that's Frostbite. I don't care, right? But it's just, I think it looks pretty awesome. You know, and I liked how it was. The whole thing was directed. I think it'll be probably pretty cool. Now, how's it going to run? And is it going to be buggy? And is it going to have all kinds of graphical artifacts all over the place? And
there is actually gameplay. I just looked at it. There is gameplay.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
there is gameplay weaved into this. So they show you the overlay.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, look, it looks good. It looks good. I like it. You know, like I will play Battlefield. Will I play it as often as I play other things? No. But I will be playing this with friends.
Okay. Yeah, so Sertas says he noticed it as soon as he joined, bro. But look, he was a nice friend. You know, he's a good friend. And he kept it under wraps. Go ahead and get your boy After His Passion super chat, sir.
Shout out to After His Passion with the $5 super chat. He said Forte's linguistical prowess is unmatched.
Yeah,
and that is massive cap. But yeah,
it is very much. Thank you for the $5 super chat, sir. If I'm here for all of your pleasure and happiness every once in a while, but but no, for me, I think this is going to be what they're. This is not even a real word. Shut up. You're gonna make me just stricken that from your site. You never seen that. But I think it's gonna be what their battle royale mode is gonna be. Part of me doesn't think that they should do a battle royale because Battlefield isn't about singularity play. It's not about you being a one-man army like something like Call of Duty or, Apex Legends or something like that, where you can do stuff like that. It's about teamwork. Battlefield has always been built around you and your squad. And I think this is probably going to be a good way for them to kind of lean into that a little bit more than a battle royale mode can be for them. I'm not saying that they probably shouldn't do it because, a lot of people are going to probably still want to do it. But, Battle Royale does have squad modes. They have doubles, they have singles, they have duels, they have squad. And I think this will be a really, really good adaptation to that. But I also think the way that they're implementing it matters the most. Like right now, it looks like you're doing capture of hard drives that are being scattered from satellites that are dropping from orbit and stuff. Who knows? Is it going to be just one satellite? Is it going to be like centralized, like 3 or 4 in a different area? And then it'll be like once those 3 satellites get picked up or 4, there's going to be one bigger one that's going to give access to the teams that picked up the one to order to get the bigger one at the end. And you have to extract it. Is it just going to be purely extraction based like like Division was? Once you get the loot, if your team can extract, there could be more than one team that wins. I think those are all really good things. There's a lot more stuff that we need to know about it before we can get super excited for it. But for me, I just feel like it leans more into what Battlefield actually is. You know, it's about teamwork, it's about squads, and I think that should be what they focus on when it comes to their version of like massive multiplayer online, when it comes to like team based, other than the game modes that they already have in the game. Because I truly believe the Portals mode is going to be the most played part of the game outside of maybe something like this, depending on how it actually stacks up and plays for a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, look, it's I'm not a big Battlefield fan. Never
You will
really
be.
have been. Here we go. Look, I will say I have fun playing the beta. It was fun. All the chaos that was going on around, and it's something that when you feel a little something when you go take a point with a group of your own teammates,
Mm-hmm.
and you just wipe out like 3 or 4 guys.
Just wipe the
just
flow.
Like, huh?
You just wipe the flow with them.
Yeah, yo, and it's just like, yeah.
Yeah,
it's just like
that's a great feeling.
yeah, you know, and and like, you know, when I was streaming myself playing that, and there were people in the chat that was like, they thought it was cool, but it was just like this time to kill. They weren't feeling it, and that's just going to be that's the way things are with first person shooters. There's going to be some shooters where people are just going to be like, yeah, I'm not feeling that being able to retaliate. Like I just get shot in the back, you know, and by the time before I could turn around, I'm already dead. Like some people can't jive with that. They want that longer time to kill, so they have an opportunity, or they feel like they have an opportunity to fight back. But I still can't rock with the vehicles like that.
Oh, really?
No, I hate the vehicles, but otherwise, I enjoyed playing the 128 map thing. So yeah, I'll definitely check this mode out. I mean, I have EA Play Plus, so on PC, I'll have access to it at launch. So maybe a little bit earlier. I don't know how they do it on PC, if it's the same as the EA Play on consoles where you get access to it a few days earlier, but hopefully that's the case. I can kind of like mess around with it a little bit sooner, but we'll see.
All right. So, yeah, Battlefield's going to be, it comes out, what, November 19th, 17th or 19th, can't remember exactly. So it's going to be a good time when that finally does come out. So I'm allow you to, you know, slander my favorite game for.
Is it slander if it's true?
I'm allow you to slander my favorite game.
Is it slander if it's true?
It might be a needed thing, but I'm allow this to happen. So recently Bungie had just come out and announced that they will be voting part of Destiny 2 when it comes to the Tango Shore and the Forsaken campaign and the associated strikes that come with those areas. We will still be keeping the Dreaming City overall, which is part of Forsaken, and we will be keeping the actual Last Witch raid, which is another part of Forsaken. So this has been something that's been going on with Bungie for the last year. This will be the second annual year that they simultaneously just removed a bunch of content from the game. The first time around, they did a bunch of planets. It was probably the biggest removal of content they've ever done in a game before to this day, and it was mostly because it was stuff that was from the launch of Vanilla D2 that they were kind of voting. And some of that stuff they brought back already, you know, like the Cosmodrome, they brought stuff like that. So in general, a lot of people are kind of upset at this. Some people feel like it's content that they paid for. Why are we taking away content that that people want to play? And then on top of that, they're still selling Forsaken right now. They did do this week at Bungie talking about people not to purchase the new DLC because it will be available later this season, I believe starting in December, before it does come into the DTV, which will be at the beginning of the next season, which would be the Witch Queen expansion that comes out February 22nd. So between December, I believe December 7th and December 8th, Forsaken will be made free, the whole entire expansion, for anybody that has Destiny, and you'll be able to play all of that content as much as you want up until the launch of Witch Queen, which at that point, all of the things that I mentioned will be removed and put into the content vote at that time. So Slow-Mo, being a person that loves to hate on Destiny, being a person that definitely heard about this situation on Twitter and has some real nice things to say on Twitter about it, what do you think about this?
Well, first, let me ask a question, okay?
Go
Because
ahead.
I just want to make sure I got all the information
Yes.
right. I want to be accurate here. Okay?
Accuracy is your best
So
policy.
let's say I am a brand new player to Destiny. I
Uh-huh.
am the bluest of blueberries. I don't know anything. I said, hey, what's this Destiny game about? Let me go download that and see what's up. After they remove this content, what exactly am I starting at?
You are still starting at the new player experience, which will start you on the Cosmodrome like it was in D1. So you're
Okay,
basically starting your experience as a
with
guardian from the
Cade,
beginning.
with Cade there, right?
Yes, if you
Okay,
choose to go through that campaign, yes, with Kate there.
okay. So there's Cade. What if hey, this guy's hilarious. He's funny. I think his voice reminds me of somebody I know. Pretty interesting character. And then out of nowhere, I'm progressing through the story. Cade's gone. What happened to Cade? No one's talking about where did Cade go? That's my favorite character. He's not showing up in the cutscenes anymore. Cade's dead. Well, I find out Cade's. When did that happen? Oh, that was with Forsaken. What's Forsaken? Oh, they took that out. See, this is this is what I'm talking about here, man. Who are you? Look, I have never heard of a developer,
Uh-huh.
regardless of what kind of game it is, MMOs, looter shooters, RPGs, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
an ongoing game, removing content as they're adding content.
Right.
Ridiculous. It's what you pay for. If you want to go back, and by the way, the video's paused.
Yeah, I got it.
If you want to go back and play through Forsaken again, well, damn it, you should be able to do that. If you are sherpering or helping along a new Destiny player, and they say, hey, I want to go through all the content. Can you do it with me? And you really don't want to, but you want to have this guy get up to where you're at, and you want to have them be as invested in this world as you are. Yeah, let's go through that, man. I'm gonna do all the trash content, all of it. But I can't wait to do Forsaken again, because Forsaken was good. But Forsaken's gone. They sunset your weapons. They take away your content. I mean, what's next? Start removing maps.
They already
no
did
people.
that. They removed maps already. They removed a bunch of they removed a bunch of PvP maps already.
Wait, what is happening?
They removed some and they brought some back.
I literally didn't know that. That was not me setting things up. I had no idea.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm giving you all the ammunition that you need right now.
Look, I got. Apparently, I have an entire arsenal of ammo and guns back here. With I don't even know how to use them. I'm just shooting at whatever, and it's hitting landing bullseyes because apparently they just don't know how to act. They just treating y'all which way that they want to. Hey, look, we just gonna take some content out. Why not, right?
Right.
You don't care, right? Well, maybe I kind of know you don't care. Never mind. Moving on. But you just go take some of the maps out. You don't care, right? You don't even like those maps. I did kind of like that one. Yeah. So anyway, no, this is what happens when there are no checks and balances. And what I mean by that is, you guys complain about things, but what you gonna do? Stop playing the game?
You're being messy right now.
What you gonna do? Not pay for the battle pass? No. What you gonna do? Not buy that ship that you thought looked real cool? You know. So what incentive do they have to not treat you like this? I said this on Twitter when I first heard this, and and my first reaction was wait, what? Why? And then I started thinking about other looters and how every time I suggest they do something that would be beneficial to the game, like adding loadouts, since you have so much varied content, you got raids, you got strikes, you got Crucible PvP, and how you gotta switch around all your gear to tailor it to specific content. And that's not new for Destiny. Every looter does that. But in other looters, you get loadouts. So you could set a loadout instead of having to spend, hey, take me back to the tower. I got hey,
you don't really have to go back to
here.
the tower anymore for stuff, though.
Whatever. Like, hey, give me a second. I gotta go through my phone, through this app, go through my stash and start moving stuff around. And you ain't gotta do that. You got a loadout. You just switch to your Crucible loadout. You're good to go. You switch to your Iron Banner loadout. You're good to go. Your what's the other one? The real sweaty one. That's 3-on-3. Can't remember right now.
Okay.
Forte.
I'm here. I'm listening.
You're not listening, because if you were listening, you would answer my question. What's the name
of the mode
that's 3-on-3 that's real sweaty?
Trials of Osiris.
Thank you. See, you weren't listening. Trials of Osiris. You can have a Trials of Osiris loadout. Your raid loadout. That's simple stuff to implement. Freaking Ubisoft developers could do it. That's no shade to Ubisoft developers, but still, Ubisoft developers can do that, and they have. How come Bungie hasn't?
Look,
common sense stuff to benefit the player, but they couldn't charge for loadouts, so.
They could charge you for loadouts. They charge for everything else in the game.
Yeah, but you know what? They could charge for loadouts, so you guys will pay for it. So you're right. They could charge for loadouts. Maybe they don't think they can, and that's why they haven't. I don't know. But what my point is that whenever I bring up things that Destiny doesn't do that they could do, I always get pushback from Destiny players saying, "But this is Destiny," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's Destiny. So freaking what? It ain't special." It's not different than any other video game. It has weaknesses. You guys admit them to yourselves, but then to other people, you act like it's perfect. But
I don't think that's the case. I don't think anybody said. No one says Destiny is perfect.
Look,
is it just this is you coming off more as a person that we admit the faults of Destiny, but we continue to keep playing Destiny even with its faults, and you don't understand why?
No, look, this is what I'm saying.
And plus, like George just said, Forsakens isn't going yet. It's not going to be going until February.
But it shouldn't be gone, period.
Like, so how big do you want this game to be, Slomo? It's already before they did the last.
Is it bigger than WoW? Is it bigger than WoW?
I think on the hard drive size it was before they started doing all that stuff.
Just because WoW got WoW's been around for so long that some of that content looks like, I mean, it could fit in on a thumb
on a JPEG,
right? But it's but regardless, I don't think if WoW had a higher graphical fidelity that Blizzard would be removing content. They really they just revamped it. You told this to me a little while ago. They revamped the very first parts of WoW.
Yeah, the beginning parts of WoW, they revamped it.
So
they
instead of removing,
made it look better and everything.
They decided to make it better. I on Twitter I made this example because it just blew my mind, and those who are Warframe, who have played Warframe, would understand what I'm saying about this. It's like digital streams removing the second dream, and for context, for those who haven't played Warframe, the second dream in Warframe, it was like the changing of Warframe. It took it to a whole different level. It's a great story. It's a great quest. It's told beautifully, and it really changed the whole entire direction of the game. And fleshed out the story in a way where people now, like, there is massive lore to the game that people are proud of. And imagine if Digital Extreme just removed that out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if new players come in, they will never experience what the rest of us experience by playing the second Dream.
Mm.
They'll never get that experience themselves. I think that's sad, and as a former Destiny player, I feel kind of sad about that they're removing content that was, I thought Forsaken was great, and
I mean, a lot of people agree with you on that.
yeah, it's just like,
But
if
I think the good parts of Forsaken are still there. I mean, the only thing you're losing is the campaign. I mean, I don't like that we're losing the campaign. I don't like that we're losing the campaign, because I think it kind of takes even knowing the raid doesn't, like, the campaign doesn't lead directly into the raid, it leads into some other stuff. The campaign did lead into you getting to the Dreaming City and understanding everything that was going on with Awokens and stuff like that. I think that's something that a lot of people are going to miss. But at this point right now, people that play Destiny, they kind of live in the here and now. It's not too many people that dabble in the older stuff, unless there's something back there for them to get, that they have to get, like a weapon or something. Like, the only reason people run Last Wish, like, shout out to the squad, the A team, shout out to the Iron Lords podcast and the team. Luca got her Vex Mythic class from Voted Glass yesterday, or day before yesterday, and it was an amazing experience for her to finally get that. We're still trying to get 1K Voices, which is the great exotic from Last Wish. And that is still going to be a part of Destiny, even with them, voting part of Forsaken. And I think that is, like, honestly, the only reason people do Last Wish at this point. Granted, there's some weapons in there that still aren't sunset, so you can still use those guns in in-game activities. But the real reason people don't truly care about this, like, they don't care, is because they don't really, it's no reason to go back and play any of that stuff, especially for people like me and Taz that already have the stuff from there. Now, if you want to go and get better versions of stuff from there, that's perfectly fine for you. But for the majority and major part of the community, it's no reason to even really talk about this. And perfect example, before this season even started, nobody was really even
reason to talk about this?
No, I'm just saying, before the season started, nobody was even talking about Dreamy City, because it was like a spot of the game that nobody went to at all. And let's be for real, the only reason it's a talking point now is because a lot of the last event that we're doing right now, the seasonal event, has you going to the Dreaming City to compete and do stuff inside of it. So it makes people go to that world to actually do some of the questing in there, which you didn't have to do before. That's the main reason why the Dreaming City itself isn't leaving Forsaken, because it's tied to, like, a seasonal event. And they already announced that seasonal events will last for at least one calendar year. Now, I can tell you, next year, that will probably disappear, because that seasonal event would disappear. But Dreaming City was never a conversation anyways for a long time. And that goes for a lot of the other stuff. The raid will be the only thing people will kind of be truly missing and stuff like that. The Tangle Shore disappearing, people, do they really care? The only thing they really cared about was their Glimmer exchange from Spider. Going there to get, some type of currency that they were missing and stuff like that. Like I said, it doesn't say that it's wrong that they're doing it. I can understand why they're doing it. I just think at a certain point, a lot of people just want them to just move on from Destiny 2 to Destiny 3, because they keep moving. They keep, taking stuff away, taking stuff in there. They're not going to do that. They'll drop the 2 on Destiny because they want Destiny to be in it. They just wanted to be Destiny at this point.
Aren't they kind of doing that now?
No, they are.
Isn't the new expansion like Destiny Super Light?
No, it says it's still Destiny 2. As long as it
Neon Lights or whatever. It's always got something with the word
no,
light
it's
in it.
Destiny Lost.
Broken Lights.
The Lost. The season is called the Season of the Lost right now, sir. The next expansion is called the Witch Queen. The expansion after that is called
It's got light
Lightfall.
in it,
It's
don't
called
it?
Lightfall, and then the last one is the final shape.
I'm telling you, it's always got light in it, man.
Well, then it's got, and then the last
Go
one
to
is
the little
called the final.
button.
In the last expansion they announced is the final shape, and all of those have Destiny 2 in the title. So, and they even iterated that Destiny 2. Even after that, there will be stuff that they're adding into the game. So Destiny 2 is going to be kind of the platform from now on. I don't.
You do need to update the engine now, though. The engine is.
Well, they could probably update the engine
time.
inside the game while they're, still making content for it.
Warframe has done that. They've updated their engine like 3 times already.
Right.
Game looks beautiful. It's that you got to do that at some point. I think, especially for ongoing games.
Yeah.
That, at one point you're gonna, which is difficult, of course, because you got to update even your old content needs to run on the new engine. So if you have, you can't go too far away from what the foundation of the engine is, because you need your content to run on that.
Right.
So there's some things that will end up becoming like that you would love to get away from, or the way that you implement things in the engine you may not like. That, for example, here's a great example of this. In Destiny 1, I remember hearing stories from Bungie developers about how cumbersome the engine was and how updating the engine took forever. Getting it checked back in, getting it running correct, like making sure that it was the code was debugged and everything was running flawlessly.
Right. That was an issue.
Such a long time. And so they corrected that with Destiny 2 with the engine, but they couldn't do they had the changes they had to make. They couldn't have just Destiny run on that. Like it would have been too difficult. So like when you have massive changes like that, for another great example was with the Division, with the first Snowdrop engine. Great engine and all, but it had a very serious flaw when it came to allowing people to go through other parts that were still supposed to be sectioned off in the environment, and and basically go through and bypass incursions in like 5 minutes when it should have been taking an hour, and just get a bunch of loot. There was exploits all over the place with Snowdrop engine. People exploiting the poor method that their engine was able to track where hit detection was in the dark zone. And so people would created we used to call it the chicken dance, where in the dark zone, if you did the chicken dance, like 50% of the hits that you actually took wouldn't register. So people would be taking on like 1v4s in the dark zone and winning, because all their shots land, but half your shots don't. And then if your build is just better than theirs, it's a wrap. Things like that. Massive Entertainment fixed for Division 2. They made sure that Snowdrop Engine 2.0 didn't have those problems. You really have to kind of overhaul certain things. And if they're not in a position to do that with Destiny, because now it's an ongoing game, I'm not saying it's impossible. It would just take longer to update that engine. And it is what it is, though. But I do think it looks a little dated. I actually installed it to get some gameplay for a video I'm doing that will feature some things about Destiny.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
Did you at least
install it? I didn't know that. I just noticed, the game still looks good, but just like it is.
It's a great looking game. It doesn't look dated. It doesn't look dated, sir.
But you look at it every day. Speaking to someone who sees better looking games all the time, it's dated.
Well, sir, I'm not trying to say it's the best looking game out there. Definitely games that look better.
You see the way this poll going?
I been saw that.
Oh,
they said no, slow mo is done. He's dead right.
Thank you. This is I am the bucket of cold water you Destiny players need.
Yeah,
And
you
I think
know,
a lot of the chat agrees with that. They tired of y'all foolishness, man.
well, like I said, anybody that was thinking about jumping into it, don't buy it. Get it. I mean, if anything, get Game Pass. Everything's available in Game Pass. You can play all of Destiny right now inside of Game Pass on console because it's not available on PC Game Pass, but it is
Is that
available on
new?
Steam.
Is that new expansion going to be in Game Pass the way the last year's
I
was?
I think we're going to hear about that during the 25th and the Halo 20th anniversary. I think that's when we're going to hear a lot of stuff on that.
They got all y'all pre-orders and then they announce it's going into Game Pass.
Yep, that's what happened with me. Like that's what happened with me and Taz. Me, Taz, and Luca. We both had the expansion already paid off, and then they announced all of it going to Game Pass, and we just never canceled
great
it.
developer, huh?
We never canceled it.
Let me stop.
Well, we could have canceled. Well, listen, we could have canceled our pre-orders and just played through Game Pass, but
why didn't you?
Because we like Destiny, we just support the developers. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, look, it was already money spent, so. And plus, they gave like special emotes and stuff to people that did it too. So shut up, Slow-Mo. It's whatever. Okay, ran over. I'm not allowing you to talk about. You are banned from talking about Destiny again for a couple of weeks.
Let me stop the poll, the slide, and even though it's got a long way to go to change the
change that number. Sir, Zero Cool C is going to try it this weekend. So yeah, definitely try it out. It's free in Game Pass. You can. Just play as much as you want. And none of these changes will affect you until February 22nd at the earliest. So, Slow-Mo, final topic, you were part of a Twitter Spaces this weekend, or this week, I should say. Yeah, you were a part of it. You had some stuff to say. And it was about multiplayer experiences versus single player experiences. And it also dove into the whole Metacritic conversation about, trusting developers and not developers, reviewers and their opinions in games and stuff. And you had some really, really nice things to say. And I wanted to bring that to DPS so you can, elaborate on that even more, without being, cut off like you were during that spaces.
Man, Twitter Spaces, man.
I know, when you give people an open mic
for debates.
When you give people an open mic, that's what happens.
That's sarcasm.
But right. Yeah. So go ahead and set the table. Because I didn't catch the beginning of it. I caught mostly the middle end of it. But go ahead and tell people what your thoughts on, just multiplayer, single player experiences and Metacritic are.
Well, I kind of. Shout out to the person who was hosting the space. It was Asante,
the homeboy
from the Gaming Circle podcast. Him and Everborn, and Asante was hosting it. He did a great job. It was a good discussion for the most part. Now, when I joined into it, when I was listening to it, it wasn't in the beginning. It had already kind of like morphed away from just being single player versus multiplayer experiences. I caught like the tail end of that, and they kind of got into. I was requested to speak, and then I said, all right, well, I got a little bit of time while I'm washing clothes and washing dishes, being all domestic and stuff, right? Because I'm a domestic, and I said, I got a little bit of time. Let me go speak in this real quick. So, yeah. So, my thoughts on single player versus multiplayer, the quality of the game determines what is like there's no such thing as single player versus multiplayer. Like there is no one is better than the other, because there are people who prefer both, right? There are people who are antisocial guys. They ain't got no friends. They don't want to play with nobody. They play single player games. Good for them. Do that. Do you? I like to dabble in my single player games all the time. Now, more than dabble. Let me not say dabble, because we got some people in the chat that might think weird about that. Anyway, I enjoy both single player and multiplayer games, but what I really enjoy is when they're really, really good, and that's what's the whole point is. Like, you can have a multiplayer game. You can make a multiplayer game. You could be of the mind that multiplayer games is where it's at. Like, you should, like, the money is in multiplayer games, just because you see stuff like Fortnite and Roblox, and they're making money hand over fist. But are you Fortnite? Are you Roblox? Can you duplicate the kind of experience that resonated with enough gamers to build those platforms into what they are? Oh, you can't? Well, then what's the purpose then? Why are you making a game just because it's popular, right? Are single player games? Are you Sony? Can you make a cinematic third person perspective game that is heavily like scripted with cutscenes and like, do you have the kind of resources that Sony has with Sony Pictures and having whole teams focused on strictly just doing the cutscenes for you? Do you have that? No. So what are you making a single player game for? Just because Sony single player games sell great and review great doesn't mean that yours will. Like it's not either or. So that's just my thought on that. It got into this whole thing with Metacritic
Mm-hmm.
where there were some guys there that were very frustrated. They were Xbox gamers. They were frustrated with the way people focus on Metacritic so much. The way people use Metacritic as a tool or a weapon in the console war against them because they in the past generation have had the opportunity to brag about games having high Metacritic scores. Whereas the PlayStation gamers, they've had quite a few games have impressive Metacritic scores. Metacritic sucks. Let's just keep it a buck, right? It's a flawed system. Metacritic is weighted. If you look at the criteria of how they do their scores, they tell you it's weighted. That some reviews have more weight than others. And even though they don't get into specifics of which reviews do, you know it's the IGNs, the GameSpots having a higher, more weight than the Gamer.com or Gamers Republic or whatever the heck they name, whatever random site that you'll see show up on Metacritic. So that's one reason why it's flawed. The other reason why it's flawed is that it doesn't accurately tabulate reviews from some of these developers. Here's a great example of it. I'm gonna name the developer. I'm sorry, developer. I meant the journalist, the reviewer. But there was a reviewer. He reviews for a particular website that we all know of. He did a review of Returnal. He did this review. He gave it because the way his website does it, they do 5 stars.
Right.
It's out of 5 stars. He gave it a 3 out of 5. Not a bad game. Not a great game. A good game. That is when people typically see a star system, you get something 3 out of 5. I look at that, and if I had to give it a number system, I would say that's like a 7 out of 10.
It's like a 7 out of 10, yeah.
Right. It's an average game. It's not terrible. It doesn't suck. It's not mediocre. It's a 3 out of 5. You know, a 3 out of 5 review that gets put into Metacritic turns into a 60?
Oh, it does? I didn't know that.
Because if they do it by 20s, so you got they literally use just straight math to do it without thinking about what and so if you read the review is very positive about the game. It talks about some of its weaknesses, but very positive about the game. But then you look at Metacritic and it says 60. Usually games that get a 60 on Metacritic don't have very favorable reviews.
Right. Plus it's red, isn't it?
It's like yellow, not yellow,
like orange or something.
Orange or something, yeah. Like you see it. It's because
it stands out.
And
it stands out. Yeah.
And so this person got kind of, had a pretty bad week on social media with fanboys, doing the typical "you suck, you're terrible, I hate you, I hate your mama, I hope your dog died," that kind of stuff, right? And it's just like so unnecessary.
Right.
In any case, that's not acceptable. But this is all because Metacritic is flawed. And so outside of that, me personally, I never care about what a Metacritic score is. I played Bleeding Edge and I liked it. Bleeding Edge had a terrible Metacritic score. I enjoyed Scarlet Nexus that had just a, not terrible Metacritic score, but just it's a good game. Like you got footage for Back for Blood, and I really like Back for Blood, even though it's got its issues, and it got like a 70. The highest Metacritic score is guys a 79 on PC. So Metacritic should not determine how you like games.
Right.
But, and this is the part where people in this Twitter space just couldn't understand what I was trying to say. And shout out to the homie BG, because BG was trying his best to explain this as well, but people just didn't want to hear it. But just because things shouldn't be a certain way doesn't mean that they aren't. Metacritic shouldn't matter to whether you play a game or not.
Right.
But for a lot of gamers, it does. And how do we know it's influential in how a lot of gamers play their games or choose to play a game? Because developers and publishers know it does. And that's why they will call up a reviewer and be like, hey, what's up with this review? What's this about? We gave you access. We helped your channel. You gave us a 76? We've seen people who are reviewers mention that before. This is why, very famously, Obsidian, when they were developing Fallout New Vegas for Bethesda, had a bonus within their contract that they would get a fat bonus if the game got a Metacritic score of 85 or above. And they got an 84. And so they missed out on that bonus. This is why John Garvin, lead narrative director for Sony Bend, who wrote Days Gone, sat down with David Jaffe in an interview and told David Jaffe, for Sony, Metacritic is king. Metacritic is very important at Sony. And if your game gets a 70 Metacritic like Days Gone did, don't plan on having a sequel. So, yeah, Metacritic's important to particular people. It's important to
Yeah. What up? I wasn't working. I ordered it yesterday, but I wasn't working today, so I didn't know if they emailed it back. I work tomorrow, so I'll let you know when I go in tomorrow. Oh, shut up. I'll call you soon when we're on the podcast. I'll call you soon I'm done with the podcast. All right. Right.
how I would like things to be. Things are not. So that's all I got, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. They said I guess they couldn't hear you for a second. You cut out for a second.
Oh man, I said some of the most profound things.
Oh yeah. Well, they heard you all the way up to when Brap did his super chat, and then I
didn't even see that he did a super chat. I was talking with my eyes closed. I was in preach mode. My bad. Look, I don't know if you guys.
They just didn't hear. They didn't hear the last minute that you said. Go ahead.
I hear Forte on the phone. Wait a minute. Did you mute me to have a phone call? Forte?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
I didn't hear you. What you just say?
Did you mute me to have a phone call?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because one bad insider in the chat says
They said
differently.
they said I hear Forte on the phone. And Certez says Forte muted the wrong person.
Are you? Did you or did you not mute me?
Why you seem so angry?
Because we're having a show and you muted me while I was talking by accident.
I muted you for 30 seconds. I didn't mean
so
to
you
mute
did
you.
Mute me.
I muted you for 30 seconds. My mom was calling me, and she called me like 3 times in a row. So I was like,
you lied to me.
No, I didn't. I just told you the truth.
Before you told the truth, you lied.
No, I didn't. Just I embellished the truth.
Chat, that's called lying.
Shut up, slow-mo.
Don't tell me to shut up, liar.
Slow-mo. Okay, he said, "You shut up, liar." No, yeah, my mom. Like, I was looking at my phone. My mom called me. Like, she called me. I was like, "I'll call her after the show." Then she called me back, and I was like, "What the hell?" Then she called me again. I was like, "Okay, I gotta mute slow." I said I gotta mute myself, and then I muted you by accident.
I gotta mute slow-mo.
I didn't mean to mute slow-mo.
Our audience can hear you have your conversation.
No, I didn't have it. I just told her I would call her back. I said, "Is everything okay?" She was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't work today." "Oh, okay, I'll call you after the podcast." She said, "Okay." That's what I said.
30 seconds.
It was 30 seconds. Literally 30 seconds.
That took 30 seconds. You said that in 5.
Well,
after his passion said, "Oh wow, you disrespectful to the mama Forte." He said, "You told your mom to shut up."
My brother was on the phone too. That's why. My mom and my brother was on the phone.
So you told your brother to shut up.
I told my brother to shut up, but my mom was the one that called me on three-way.
This is okay. So you're on three-way with your mom and your brother. You told your mama to shut up.
I told my brother to shut up.
And you told your brother you call him back.
I told my mom I'd call her back. And my brother was on the phone with her, so technically, I don't know if I got to call him back.
I think I'm having a great point.
You were having a great point. I can hear the point. No
one knew that but you, because you muted me, so we could hear you talk to Mama Forte
for 30 seconds. Yes,
I cannot believe this is what happens when you host.
I will.
This is what happens when you host.
I will take responsibility. If you want, you can repeat the last 30 seconds.
I will take responsibility. You have to. We already given.
Remember, yo, Brat. Remember when I told you yesterday that me and Slow-mo gonna get into an argument today?
So we just saying this was premeditated?
No, this wasn't. This.
It sounds like you're saying. That
I just knew. I was just. Okay.
It sounds like you.
Wait, hold on. Let's go. First of all, calm down. First of all, shout out to.
I'm very calm. I'm just
First of all, shout out to Brat with the $2 super chat. Shlomo needs to play Souls games. Yes, he does. He definitely does do that. And go to his Twitter, not his Twitter. Go to his Twitch account and just sit there and watch him play.
Go to my Twitter account.
Yeah, his Twitter account. It has a link. It has a link to his Twitch.
Look for the Twitch, the channel points on my Twitter account.
Yep, nope. Go there. And then One Bad Mother says can't hear him. After Fashion can't hear him. Forte says muted the wrong person. One Bad says I hear Forte on the phone. Slow Certat says
after his passion.
Cut out. You mean Wait a minute. Wait. We'll get to it. So then shout out to Certat. He's sick, and I said Slow-mo, you cut out. Certat say cut out. You mean muted? Oh my! And after Francis said yes, he did. Everybody's laughing at me. Yes, he muted you and spoke to someone on the phone. After he told Ma, "Oh, shut up." That was entertaining. We heard everything. Go ahead with after his passion, Slow-mo.
Oh, I can speak now?
Yes.
Am I muted? Can people hear me?
No, you're not muted.
Okay, great. Shout out to After His Passion, the $5 super chat. Slow-mo, don't forget Forte used to deny he was eating on the air, all the while burping while denying it. Absolutely. I will never forget that.
Burping while denying it. Hey, I did stop eating on air. I used to eat on air. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you also used to lie about that with food in your mouth.
I only did that one time, sir. What the heck was that?
I can hear you chewing. What are you talking about? I ain't chew. I'm not eating anything. You just swallowed the food, fool. Like we can't hear that with your $5,000 mic.
Oh man, it's a good mic. It's probably why you can hear everything.
Taz, Forte Harded muted you. You know, what was I talking about? I don't even remember.
You were just talking about.
You were talking. Remember.
You were talking about Metacritic. You were talking about the last 30 seconds of Metacritic.
What I was saying was that John. I don't know if people heard me talk about John Garvin.
They heard you talk about John Garvin, but go ahead.
How do you know?
Because that was before the last 30 seconds.
Okay, so I don't remember what I said after that. It's lost to the ether.
It's lost to the ether. Well, come up with something clever.
Something clever?
Yeah, something clever.
Well, coming up with something clever is very hard to do. So I just
I'm never gonna live this down.
Absolutely never, absolutely. So no, look, what I will say to close this up is that Metacritic should not matter to you on what games you play. If you're interested in a game and it gets a 65 on Metacritic, don't let that deter you from playing the game. For me personally, the only time I will consider a review and that might change my opinion on something is if a lot of reviews are saying this game is broken, it's unplayable, or like like Amazon's New World, it's a PC only game. I was interested in playing this MMO until I heard that like it's like killing people's GPUs.
your GPU's on the line if you do to play that game.
Yeah, pause. No, sir. Like that's the kind of feedback I want to hear. That lets me know I will wait until the game is fixed before I play that. That's the kind of feedback I want to hear from people. Like I or if something is like disrespectful to a group of people, egregious kind of thing. Like if Riva goes, I was chilling with the game until they started dropping N-words left and right, and they started, using a lot of racial stereotypes about Asian people, and I'm like, wait, what? Like if that's the kind of stuff that's going on, that's good for me to know. I will steer clear of a game that I was gonna get, but I don't want to support developers that's doing that kind of thing. You feel me? So like when it's something that is doesn't align with your personal ideology and your personal thoughts and the things that you respect and feel, then use reviews to kind of help you guide you there. But as far as the game being quality, like only you can determine that. But that has nothing to do with why other people still use reviews to determine whether they're going to get a game or not. And because people do that, it's why publishers and developers do the things they do and make Metacritic more important than it needs to be. Now, hopefully I didn't get muted in any of that.
No, you knocked it out the park. I think you hit all of the $1,000 bullseyes on that closeout right there. No, I mean, but for myself, I do agree 100% in everything that you kind of said. It was just something that I couldn't say in the spaces because I was at work that day. But I just think a lot of people,
even if you were able to get in the spaces, you probably wouldn't be able to say it.
Facts, definitely. It was open mic night in that spaces. But no, I just think, at a certain point, I always tell people all Metacritic is a bunch of people's opinions congregated into one space where you can actually see them all together. And people that think that Metacritic does not influence people's buying habits, it absolutely does. I heard somebody, I think BG was on fire. That's one thing. BG was on fire in that spaces. And he was talking about, like how Deathloop, nobody was really looking at that game like that. Everybody was on the fence about it and everything, and then all of a sudden 10 out of 10 start coming out of Metacritic, and a lot of people started running out grabbing the game and stuff like that. That was a game that definitely heavily, we don't know how much it heavily relied on Metacritic to get even more sales, but it definitely got sales off of that. Yeah, go ahead.
What is this game that we're looking at?
Oh, Alpha Planet.
Okay.
Oh, you shocked that I played something different, aren't you?
I'm shocked that you played something I've never heard of. So
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's like a walking sim, but it's more you got stealth elements and stuff inside of it. I played like probably an hour and a half of it. Pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go back and finish. I was like one of those things. I was starting this whole adventure of look at all these games in Game Pass. Oh, let's start with the one that starts with an A, and it was like the first game in A that I actually was interested in. Looked at. I was like, let me download it, and I ended up playing, yeah, like hour and a half, 2 hours of it like 2 days ago.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like
Branching out with some indie games, man. Look at I always say indie is where the innovation is, and so
yeah.
you'll get it's a lot of boom or bust. You know, like it's uh big time publishers and developers are leery to spend millions upon millions of dollars on an idea that might fail, and so they like to play it safe and stick to things that if they haven't done it before and know it works, someone else has done it before and know it works, and so they typically don't like to do that. But indies, there's no overlord saying that's a dumb idea. Don't do that.
Yeah,
That doesn't sell.
you never know what
Yeah.
people are willing to try unless you put it out there.
Right, right. And so I love trying indie games because I always end up seeing something that I didn't see before or having experience in gaming that I haven't played before, which is why, our homie Luke is always like, Slomo, you play all these games, you don't like any of them, but like a lot of the games I do like are games you guys haven't even heard of before. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
is it a game that I will say is like the best of games? No, but and I'll tell you the truth. I just got tired of nothing but Destiny gameplay on my channel, so I was like, I need to at least. I told myself I would set myself up for at least.
You did a much better job with the host this week with actually lining up content to what we were talking about.
Right. And I got
So
tired of just letting one thing play all the way through. And
you just messed it up with muting me, but still, you at least got the video side right.
I got the video side right. The one thing that I know I could actually do really well on. But yeah, man. But like, closing out that, I think Metacritic is it needed? No, it's not needed, but it's relied upon when it comes to a lot of these studios, when it comes to like, their monetary gains and stuff. And when it comes to monetary gains, we should always celebrate the creators getting as much money as possible. And it just goes back to like the developer for Days Gone said, buying the game definitely helps. If a game is good, if you're interested in the game, go out and buy it. Even if you're going to wait on a sale, it's still worth, the number that you give them by actually doing something like that.
I do have to push back on Mr. Garvin on that. If a game
if
really,
it doesn't sit with you, then don't give them your money.
If you're just kind of like meh on a game or you're not interested, then like, yeah, I'm not buying your game at launch, bro. I'm just not.
Right, exactly. I'll wait for a sale.
And I'm glad for that because I don't like Days Gone.
But But part of me feels like Days Gone
on sale for $20.
But part of me
feels I would have
got
that at 60 at launch, I'd have been pissed.
Well, part of me feels like Days Gone would have been a better received game if it just didn't have the technical problems it had at the beginning of it. Because after playing it,
I think that's part of it. But like when I played it, it didn't have it. I didn't experience any bugs.
Oh, you did?
I just didn't like the gameplay, and I couldn't stand the main character talking to himself every 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It was annoying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm with you on that. I just think in general, it just comes down to everybody has their own opinions on what they are looking for in a game and stuff. There's been many games that I done played that were nowhere near 90 Metacritic that I enjoyed and stuff. But I also think there's games out there that you definitely should be wary of due to, the just how much games cost now and how many of them are releasing over time. I think that's probably the best benefit that Metacritic gives you. It just kind of saves you slightly from making mistakes on bad games where you could save that money on and just, experience even better ones. But ultimately it should be your decision and come down to you checking out, reviews and reading and following along and watching gameplay of people of your favorite YouTubers or whoever you like to watch play games. I think those are the ways that you should kind of combat, if you're actually interested in games instead of just taking somebody's opinion on a game. There's no opinion better than seeing it and playing it yourself.
Facts. Real quick before we close up.
Yep.
So you enjoy playing this game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a recommendation for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Play Gris. Gris.
I have it downloaded on my system. I haven't played it yet, though.
If you like this, you're gonna love Gris. Gris is freaking awesome. I actually might cop that on PC and play through it again. Because I when I played it on Switch when I had a Switch, and I don't have access to that anymore because I sold it. And when I say I sold it, I used it as a frisbee and threw it in the ocean. I'm kidding, I sold it. But yeah, I kind of like a few months ago I thought about Gris and kind of wanted to go through it again. I know it's on one of these storefronts on PC. So, but yeah, Gris is good. It's a platformer like this one. It's got except it's a little bit more floaty, and it's the art direction is so unique and different. It's a really really good game, and the story like no words are spoken, but the story is really impactful. I think you'll like it.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, and I will definitely check that out. What's the other game you were playing this week, Forte? I was playing a lot of different things this week, sir. This game, Destiny. I always play that.
A Little Pony.
No, we're not talking about this. I was not playing. Did you? Okay, so did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How did you hear about it?
I can't divulge my sources.
It had to be. I mean, listen, I don't know who how did you hear about it, Slow-Mo?
But look, just admit it, man.
I was not playing that game. And the fact that Sir Taz knows about this lets me know that Luca probably saw me online playing and thought it was me. Probably was Luca. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
So who was it?
So I game share with my youngest child on her Xbox upstairs.
Oh, so we throwing the
No. Listen, I was not playing Boyfriend Dungeon. I already know what game we talking about here. Trust me.
I had no idea what you were talking about, but I just let you keep talking until you eventually admitted that.
No, I was not. No, listen, because Taz brought it up in the freaking chat. And listen,
look, I had no. This was you was like, how do you know what game? And I was just like, I have no idea what game he's talking about. But let me just see if I can get him to talk himself into telling me what game this is.
Listen, I was in a party. Shout out to Diller. Shout out to shout out to Zocker. Shout out to Obi-Wan. They come hit, Diller sends me a message a couple days ago, and I was like, what is he talking about? He said, what game are you playing? And I was like, Destiny? And then I just left. And then I go into a party with him the next day, and I was like, what the heck? Why would you ask me what game I was playing? All I play is Destiny. He was like, sir, no. You was playing something called Boyfriend Dungeon. I was like, huh? What the heck is that? And he was like, sir? And he said, it's in your activity.
Indie game.
Yeah, it's an indie game.
I've watched, I think I watched Eric Cuts for the Win play it one time. I would probably never play it because of the name.
Right.
But it's not what you think. It's kind of like...
It's like Minecraft Dungeons, isn't it?
No, well, I don't know for certain. I watched some of her playing it, but I was kind of busy doing some other things. Whenever you talk to people, it's kind of like... I've mentioned Phoenix Wright before. You know how with Phoenix Wright, there's like it's more like there's like a character that's hand-drawn character in front of you that's speaking, but they're not like, it's not like a full-on cut scenes, and I think it's voice acted. But you get maybe it is like Minecraft Dungeons. You think the gameplay is because like it's like your weapons are these characters you have relationships with or something. I don't know,
I
but
don't
it's
know
not
what this
all
game
like
is.
dudes. It's not all boy. There are some like female weapons, so it could be like girlfriend something. I don't know. I've never played it before. I have no freaking idea. But that's what the impression I got from her stream. I don't think she cared for it too much because I don't think she streamed it beyond that. But I've heard some people say, "Oh, this game's good." I've seen that on Twitter. So I don't know. Maybe you should play Boyfriend Dungeon.
No,
Maybe you'll like it.
no, sir. I'm not playing it because of the
Seems right
name.
down your alley, man.
No, listen, I was sitting there, they were roasting me in this chat, and I was like, there's no way. And I go check my achievement list, and there it was, Boyfriend Dungeons. I was like, what?
You did it on your profile. That's
No,
great.
no, no, no,
That is
no.
great.
So no, this is the thing, and just for future notice, anybody that game shares with anybody, in order for you to game share, you have to make, their Xbox your home Xbox. Just remember to make sure you don't have auto sign in when they sign into their account. Because if you're signed in, and even if they're signed in on their account and they're playing under their account, since you're signed in, all of your friends sees what the other person on your account is playing because you're game sharing.
But that's true. But you said you got achievements for it.
I don't know. No, I don't have achievements. I don't have achievements.
Okay.
It just shows up on my. It shows up on my achievement list, though.
Because I have a child account for my son who's 11, and all he plays is Roblox. He'll dabble in Descenders and Forza Horizon 4, but 9 times out of 10 he's playing Roblox. And I've had people I know be like, "Yo, why are you playing Roblox?" And I'm like, "I don't play Roblox." Well, all day on Discord it said Slow-mo backslash playing Roblox, and I'm like, was because when you have a child account, you have to be signed in on their Xbox while they're also signed in.
Okay.
And I guess that's like some kind of way or method to make sure that, like, because like if he tries to play something that is outside of like the parental controls I have, like if he tried to play GTA 5, for example, or Red Dead 2, I would get a notification saying his gamer tag is attempting to play X game. Do you want to allow that or deny it? And then I have the option to kind of allow it, whatever. Sometimes it's a little too strict because it didn't allow him to play Forza Horizon 4, and I'm like, for what? It's a racer. There's nothing here that's like, worth, that 11-year-old couldn't see. So,
oh my god.
But you don't get like achievements because like even though Roblox shows up on my
you don't have any points in there.
I have no time in it on my profile. Yep. No achievements.
No, that's what it was for me. I was like, how's this showing on my account? And I have no points, no time. Because I thought my child played on my account. And this is the thing. I thought it was my youngest kid. I thought it was Peyton. I was like, okay, Peyton been playing on my account, playing games. And I said, wait, there's no time. And then when I saw that, I remembered that I had just got my youngest daughter an Xbox Series S. And it's in her room. And just the day before, she logged in with my account to make that one the, primary account. And I texted her. I literally, when we were in a party, I texted her. I was like, hey, I took a picture of the screen and I said, hey, have you been playing this game? And she was shaking. She's like, yeah. What did I do wrong? What's wrong with it? I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. I said, you just get me crucified over here. And George just basically said that Dealer shouted me out on RDX. That's why I told Dealer too. I said, I'm not showing up the RDX because you're gonna go in there and shout me out.
He was like, in the typical Dealer voice, Forte, shout out to Forte for playing Boyfriend Dungeon. Guys, Forte plays Boyfriend Dungeon. You know how he probably.
Oh, I know how he did it because and I told him right then. I said, there's no way I'm showing up the RDX tomorrow. I'm just letting you know that. Man, it was crazy. But no, it's cool. Shout out to Erodimus with the $5 super chat. She says, great job, Forte, for expanding your gaming portfolio instead of Destiny all the time. Yeah, listen, man, it's Destiny is Destiny, but I got to give you guys more content than just Destiny. I can't just be destroying people in a Crucible every week in gameplay.
You use the same footage, man.
No, that's not. No, it looks the same. It's not the same. I have well over 90 hours worth of footage on my hard drive for Destiny.
I felt like there was one show where all you used
that was
minutes.
No, that was before I think it was probably like 2 months ago I did, but I put a lot of time in and just recorded a bunch of gameplay. So as of lately, it's been nothing but new stuff.
Shout out to Ryan saying Xbox needs to have family Game Pass accounts. I
They
agree
do
with that.
because they do need to have that. I would pay
I
a little
have
more.
to install, like, I can't remember because I haven't done this in a minute, but my son will go every now and then go through Game Pass and see something that he may want to play, but he can't install it. So I have to go onto his Xbox, switch to my account, install it, and then he switches back to his account, and then he can play it. I mean, like, all these extra steps is just unnecessary.
Yeah. Rail Zaire says somebody on a different podcast played that and I liked it. Mitchie Dies a Lot said Boyfriend Dungeons is a really good game.
People say it's good. You should try it out, man.
I mean, listen, y'all. Listen, man.
Go ahead and play it.
I'm already attached to that thing. I had to, good thing I didn't earn achievements in it, so you can go in and hide it off your list, so people would never know it was there unless they, saw me for some strange reason in that game before. But when I looked it up, I was like, oh, it looks like Minecraft Dungeons, but it's just the name of the game that's throwing me off. Boyfriend Dungeon. I'm like, yo, what? I was like,
this is why I am offline 99.999% of the time, so people can't be judging what I'm playing. Although I'm not playing Boyfriend Dungeon, but I will play some stuff because, like, look, even on PC, and I forget to leave the Xbox app running in the background on my PC.
mm-hmm.
I'm playing the game on Steam. It shows up, like, if people see me on Xbox and I'm showing online, it'll show you what I'm playing on Steam, EA, Ubisoft, Connect, Epic Game Store, whatever. It's showing you what I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
People be like, what game is that? Why are you always playing all these random games? Man, stop Xbox stalking me, man.
Right.
So
yeah, man, definitely. Well, I appreciate you, sir. He said, Real Lazar says, man, Up and Down owns it, and he said it feels real better. Ooh, that's cool. Listen, man, I don't know. It'll take me a lot to.
You like to play Boyfriend Dungeon?
No, man. Whatever. Shout out to everybody that went into the contribution to the poll. Says single player game experiences were 58%, multiplayer experiences were 42%. That's a little upside down from what I thought it would be. I mean, it's still close either way, but I was expecting more people to say multiplayer. But then again, multiplayer, it hasn't really been that many compelling multiplayer games for people to kind of play. I think if Halo would have been out, that probably would have been a little bit higher. But is what it is. So first of all, I want to say thank you for everybody coming. We were around 49 people in the chat, and appreciate every last one of you guys. If you do not mind, hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you follow the official Damage Per Second podcast Twitter account at DPS podcast _. Anything that happens on the podcast, if me and Slow-Mo string together for something for the podcast, it will be done through that Twitter link.
Let me say it correctly. At DPS _podcast _. You missed the underscore.
Oh, I missed the underscore. Okay, thank you, sir. And I was the one that made that Twitter account. Yeah, so shout out to everybody that came through. And to my co-host, Mr. Backslap, Slappiest, the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps. Tell everybody where they can find you at, what you got going on your channel, and what you got in store for people in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no problem. Check me out on my channel, Slow Mo Backslap, I should hopefully very soon have a video that I've been working on for a good little while out. It's in regards to I, I don't even feel like talking about it. You'll see it when it comes out, hopefully really soon. But also check me out on Twitch, where if I'm not, I think I stream every day. I think I've gotten into a groove. Whenever I'm home, I am streaming during lunchtime. I think I might even start calling it lunchtime with slow mo or something like that. I don't know. Where I'll just stream around lunchtime. People can eat lunch and watch me stream. So like that seems to be around the time I go live for the most part. And that might be what I'm doing tomorrow around lunchtime. So, come on through. We'll see what I'm playing. Might be some Back for Blood. Might be something else. We'll see what's up. But that is Slow Mo Backslap on Twitch as well. And yeah, that's about it, man.
Definitely. Appreciate you as always being a part of the show. Appreciate your friendship. Appreciate everything that you do for the community, and keep going in these Twitter spaces and setting this, the record straight, because you're a lot better at it than I am, because I will flip if I go into one of those things with some of the stuff people be talking about.
Maybe you should.
It just makes no sense. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. No, I don't know. I got away from all the podcasts, and all that is a big podcast. Twitter Spaces, 5 hours long. Can't do it. But yeah, for myself, you already are here. Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. We appreciate you coming through for DPS Podcast episode 54. Yeah, 55, yeah. I put so much in the title that it was like it couldn't even fit the title of the podcast in there. But yeah, appreciate everybody coming through. I do have an announcement. I come to the conclusion of what I am going to do with this channel going forward, because people have been asking me. I will be posting every Monday and Thursday on this channel. It basically gives me enough time to get stuff for the weekend, and I will post before DPS on every Thursday. Normally I'm off work on Tuesday, Thursday, so it gives me enough time to actually just put a video together. The biggest reason why I haven't been doing it is because I just rather play games. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so there's a breadth of things that's going to be discussed in video form over the next couple of weeks that I didn't really touch on in video format before. But yeah, every Monday, every Thursday, you'll expect some type of upload on this channel, guaranteed, around everything that has been going on in gaming, mostly around Xbox, but PlayStation and anything else can turn up in it. And then there is opportunities for other videos to still pop up throughout the channel, but only thing I want to guarantee is Monday and Thursday. Make sure you tune in for stuff to come out from this channel. And I appreciate everybody that still rocks and hangs out on the show and everything like that. And definitely don't want to take you guys for granted. And I appreciate all the love and support you guys bring. And please sub to my homeboy Slow Mo Backslash channel. Puts a lot of hard work in there. And I definitely know once he starts seeing that sub count go up, it's going to make him do more videos. So appreciate everything you guys
ain't got nothing to do with me not doing videos.
He'll do them. He'll do them though. If he sees that sub count going, he'll be like, "Yo, I got a fan base. I gotta make sure that." That's why he talks on Twitter so much, y'all. Because his Twitter count. What are you at now? 1,600 subs now on Twitter.
What are you talking about? That I don't know where I'm at on Twitter.
I think you're at 1,600. I know, I'm just talking slow.
You clearly just talking at this point.
No, I just want people to, I just want people to check out your beautiful content. I just want people to check out your content. That's it.
It's hard for you to just.
It's hard. It is hard. Shut up. All right. See you guys. See you guys later before I get eaten by this giant bug in this underground cavern. And the one thing I will say about this game, Slow Mo, the difference in environments and the colors, especially with HDR turned on, is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's very unique. Very different.
Pretty cool. But all right, guys, we'll see you guys for episode 56 next week on Slow Mo's channel. And just be linked to the DPS channel on Twitter so you can know anything that's going on in course of the show. All right, see you guys later. Have a good week and enjoy the games that you guys are playing.